this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Get It Right Texoma. I've had a day after Turkey Day, or for those of us who didn't do turkey.
There you go. Day after something day.
After Thanksgiving Day. It's just we didn't do turkey. We did Italian, actually. So what'd y'all do?
At my house, ham, leg of lamb, and chicken.
All right.
So it wasn't traditional, but there was dressing. My family family has a great dressing recipe that's been handed down for a long time, and it's wonderful. My wife does a great job. She follows that recipe, and that was handed down, and she does a great job.
All right. Well, I'm Terry.
And I'm Trey.
And this is the trio with Mike. Well, you can't say, actually, they're off. Here, we have to do this. There's Mike.
That's right.
I just thought about this last show. I was like, we were talking about Mike all the time in the picture, but
Yeah.
he can, and nobody can see him if we don't.
Our friend and former podcast partner, Mike.
Yeah, that's it. Mike Hendren. He's the one that got us started in our lucrative broadcasting career here. So, but in any case, but anyway, we're here every Friday morning. Anyway, at 7:30, we usually stream it, and we are live this morning, even after the Turkey Day. And,
That's right.
7:30 a.m. Facebook and YouTube, and we get into a little bit of local happenings and other interesting topics, and even a guest, but we don't have a guest this
Not
time.
this morning. Yeah, we generally have a guest, and we have guests lined up for, almost through February now. But this morning I thought, it may be a hard time getting somebody in on the day after Thanksgiving, and I thought,
hey, we got. Well,
don't bother. We got plenty to talk about.
Yeah, I don't think we have any trouble coming up with something.
No.
But in any case, so go ahead and you pick up mine there, I guess.
So please chime in with your comments, your hot takes, and we want to hear from you. Also, be sure to check out our archives and our content, where there's not only a lot of our content there, all of our guests, but also a lot of Mike Hendren's in there as well.
On YouTube, go look at it all there.
Yeah, our buddy Mike lives on through those archives.
That's right.
And a huge thanks to our sponsors, Eddie Hill's Fun Cycles and MacTech Solutions. So
Yep.
there's not a better place to get your stuff ready for Christmas.
That's right.
I mean, MacTech Solutions, anything that has to do with Apple and Apple products, except for the phone.
Right. We don't sell the phone. We fix them.
Yeah, don't fix, but you can purchase it here. And then Eddie Hill's Fun Cycles, if you have need a side-by-side for the end of the year. That's another thing. It's not just Christmas.
Right.
People do it for the end of their taxes.
That's right.
But then if you need something for your kiddos, we have ATVs and dirt bikes, kid-size stuff, and all the safety equipment and all that. So come check us out.
All right. And, if you want to sponsor us, by the way.
If you want some advertising opportunities, contact one of us.
Yeah.
It will be very inexpensive.
Yes.
You'll get a lot of bang for your buck.
There you go. So, all right. Well, let's get into this Get It Right Texoma.
That's right.
And so what are we starting with? Our restaurant focus, or our eatery. Sometimes it's not a full restaurant, but hey, it's local.
It's local. That's where we start every time.
And so who do we have here?
Wellborn Steakhouse.
Okay, so tell us about that. I don't know.
That is the steakhouse at the Delta Hotel, the newest.
Oh, that's right. I have been there. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew it sounded familiar.
I figured you had it at some point. Yeah. So it is a steakhouse at the Delta Hotel, which is over by the Impec. Great hotel, great, but the steakhouse is a really nice high-end steakhouse right here in Wichita Falls. Great food. Yep, you have a.
Got it up on the screen here.
The piece of meat that they have right off the bat, is it on the website, like on the computer website, you could see this.
Oh, there
it is. Look at that.
Man, they were really good.
Yeah, flame grilled ribeyes, flame grilled steaks, tomahawk steak.
Is Chef LeBoy still out over there?
I don't know if he is or not.
Okay, because Mike's friend and chef friend, I guess. He was
Chef LeBoy was the head chef there.
Yep.
I don't think he is still there.
Okay.
But
still.
Yeah. It's all of their meat comes right off the Wellborn, the 2R ranch.
Oh, okay.
So it's locally sourced meat, and just about as fresh as you can get. They have great sides, and really good people right there. It's convenient. So if you have the atmosphere is like a high-end steakhouse.
Absolutely.
So if you want to impress somebody, maybe you have a business client that's coming in town,
Right.
or maybe you just want to take your honey out, or your wife or your girlfriend. Just don't take them at the same time.
Yeah. Anyhow. Yeah, there would be good.
You want to take somebody special out to a special evening, be sure to consider the Wellborn Steakhouse at the Delta Hotel.
Okay.
It's a nice atmosphere, great food.
Yep, and I've been, like I said, I went and checked it out not too long. I guess it was actually a little while after they opened, but it was probably good because then let all the newness run off,
That's right.
But
and they also have, if you have because I attended an event there, and they do catering at those events as well, and the food was really good there. It was like beef tips or something along those lines, and it was very flavorful, and it came out hot and everything else. So they know how to do the catering very well.
Yeah.
On-site catering. I don't know that they come to your place. That wouldn't make sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, I'll tell you what else we got going next here?
City of Lights Festival and Parade downtown Wichita Falls is going to be Saturday, December 6th, which is next Saturday. And the theme is a country Christmas. Have you noticed that country music, country stuff has gotten to be kind of more back in the mainstream again? It really has. I mean, just in pop culture. There was a time when it was like hip hop was the big thing. Everywhere you went, that's all you saw or heard about on TV and all that. But it's kind of gone back more country. And a lot of it is, I think that a lot of these country artists are not your old,
right.
Ding, 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 they're not Johnny Cash.
Merle Haggard. And
exactly.
Johnny Cash had some really good stuff, though.
I love Bo Cephas, but there was still those, Conway Twitty and that sort of thing. And Loretta Lynn, you don't see as much of that. Now you have Lainey Wilson, you have Post Malone, you have Jelly Roll. I mean, you have people that don't even look like they were traditional country artists. They don't show up with the big fake cowboy hat and the big belt buckle and all that.
Those are, wait a minute. See, I don't know who these country folks are. I know a few of them, I guess, but who'd you say, Jelly Roll?
Jelly Roll. He's good.
Oh, okay.
He's got a very soulful sound. And Lainey Wilson is huge. She's kind of blown up. And then Post Malone, he's got face tattoos. He's got face tattoos and all. He's a country music artist. Yeah, I mean,
okay.
it's just they're like the non-traditional. And then the music is a little bit of country mixed with Southern rock. So I think it's a little bit more of an upbeat thing, not as traditional country and Western.
Right.
So anyhow, but that's just an aside note. But the festival starts at 5:00 and the parade starts at 7. It's free to attend, but there's a lot of vendors out there. Be sure to bring food, if you want a card, and you probably can't spend cash, or maybe it's cash or card for food and drinks and that sort of thing. And I have not been to the City of Lights parade in a few years, but the last few times I went, that place was packed downtown. I mean, seriously, if you want a good place to stand, you better get your butt down there early. It is packed, and it's probably about a 4-block parade, 3 to 4 block parade, but it goes right down between the Wichita Tower and the big blue building on one side and everything. And you get down in, especially in there, and the bands are playing because the school marching bands usually march at them and stuff like that. The bands are playing, and it really sounds cool right down there. So that's a great place to stand. Yeah. So City of Lights Festival parade, downtown Wichita Falls, December the 6th. And then also we talked about our friend Mike Rucker and his wife are having the original down Wichita Falls Gun Show in Burke. So this is the original Wichita Falls Gun Show that has been around from the 80s. Joe Tom White ran it for many, many, many years. Right. And Mike helped him run it towards the end of Joe Tom's life. And a few years ago, or a couple of years ago, they kind of got a little sideways, I think, with the MPEC and over pricing and all that. So they moved to Burkburnett. And the city of Burke has wrapped their arms around them and said, we love you being here, because they pack that Burke Community Center out. Absolutely pack it out.
That was where Mike's 50th birthday was.
It absolutely was, yes. Okay. It's a good sized space, but it's not nearly as big as the MPEC is. But it's over there in Burkburnett, right over there by the high school, and just follow the crowd, because I think the vendors, their success rate is so good over there. The vendors are signing up for the next event before they even leave. So they have a full slate of vendors. I mean, you can't get a vendor table over there as far as I know anymore. But go check it out. I think they have a special, and I don't have it in front of me, but it's going to be the 6th or the 7th. So that's next Saturday and next Sunday. And I believe there's a special. You can pay a separate price for admission each day, or I think you can pay a little bit higher price and get in both days.
Yeah, well, that's
so go check them out.
Yeah, I need to get back into going to the gun shows. I haven't been in a while, and
as Joe Tom White used to always say, there's more to gun shows than guns. There's more than guns at the gun show.
There you go.
And there really is. There's food. There's beef jerky. I mean, there's arts and crafts. But then there are a lot of guns, hunting supplies, outdoor supplies, and that sort of thing. It's really interesting. I mean, if you've ever been to a gun show, and even if you're not into guns and you don't shoot, just to go walk around and see what everybody has. And there's a chance you're going to find something you're interested in. Real quickly, let me mention this before we get into our news. Okay. So something we've been working on for a while, and it looks like it very well may happen. The city of Wichita Falls has an RC air park.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's people that fly the RC planes, they use it. Well, for quite some time, my business partner, Eddie, and I know this is not self-serving to me because it doesn't do anything for me personally, but he is my business partner and friend, is a prominent person from Wichita Falls. He drag raced for many years. He always hometown Wichita Falls, talked about Wichita Falls, talked about North Texas, brought some notoriety to this area. Well, he's done drag racing. He's 89 years old.
Yeah.
So he's retired from racing completely.
Unless it's he might race.
He does fly RC.
Right, flies RC, but he didn't race them.
I don't know about that.
Oh, okay.
And he's been into this for quite some time and uses that air park pretty regularly.
Okay.
Well, I kind of thought, what a great idea to honor somebody.
Sure. Yes.
Then to
remember that.
Maybe name something like that after him. And there is a city, I don't know if it's an ordinance or resolution that says that somebody has to be dead for 5 years before you can name a city property after them. I understand the theory behind it. The last thing you want to do is name a building after somebody, and then some old bones get dug up, or they go nuts and they jump on TV and drop the N-word about 15 times or something like that. So I can understand that. But the fact is, he's 89 years old. He's been in the public spotlight for 7 decades, and by the way, his wife keeps him in line. Ursi Hill is not going to let him get out of line anyhow. But no, the thought that there's something in Eddie's past. I mean, when he and Ursi were racing, they were together all the time. It wasn't like he would go off and go on the road for weeks and weeks at a time. She stayed at home. No, they raced together.
Oh,
They were part of the crew. So my point is, the chances of Eddie having something that's untoward in his past is almost nothing. So it's like, hey, it's like any resolution. City council can make exceptions.
Can waive those specific requirements. Yeah.
So with help from the mayor or support from the mayor, some of the city councils, and our new city manager, Jeff, who came in, was on the show, really good guy. They all work for. And now on Tuesday's council agenda, there is a resolution to name the Wichita Falls RC Air Park, Eddie Hill Air Park or whatever, RC Air Park. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So if you are in support of that, please, you can contact your city council person, and or show up. It's Tuesday morning, at 8:30, the city council now meets right now while City Hall's being under construction or renovation. The city council meets at the Haley Eye Center Clinic in the MPEC. If you've ever gone to it, you walk through the hall. It's kind of towards the end. It's like
it's on the right, and a little theater.
There's a little theater. I've done improv there.
Okay.
Yeah, we did several improv shows there one time. But when when Backdoor Theater's stage after it flooded was being rebuilt, we did some improv shows there. So it's really neat. But that's where the city council meetings are held now until City Hall's ready. And go check it out. So if you are interested in supporting him, supporting the initiative, like I said, please call your city council member or send them an email and say, hey, I support this, or maybe show up and just be there for support.
Sounds cool. So we got news going now.
Yeah, and you brought this up last week.
Yeah,
We just didn't get to it.
Right. So there's a thing that happened. Microsoft. Believe it or not, I don't mind Microsoft. I kind of like them. They've got some good products. They're big. They're a huge company.
If nothing else, you got to give them credit for really mainstreaming personal computers. Making it easy. I mean, I know Apple really was out there first, but Apple didn't have the market share.
No, still doesn't. But Microsoft has changed. Microsoft makes PCs, but Apple makes many more PCs than Microsoft does.
Microsoft, to me, was not the PC,
right,
it
was
was
the software. Right,
software.
yeah. But actually, a little tidbit here, that Microsoft Word was on an Apple product before it was on a Windows, because Windows didn't exist.
But wasn't the original, what we would call Windows, really Apple? Wasn't a version of what Apple already did?
Okay.
I think Apple was more innovative at the beginning.
Well, yeah. So here's really the full story. The full story is that Steve Jobs got a call from the folks at Xerox PARC. That's called PARC, Palo Alto Research Center.
Mm-hmm.
And he had friends there, I guess, and they called him and said, hey, you want to take a look at some stuff? And he said, sure. So he shows up, and they give him this demonstration of this graphical interface, a mouse and pointer and all that. And he's like, ooh. And they're like, oh, we don't know what to do with this. It was a publishing system that they had put together, but it wasn't on a personal computer. It was on a mini computer, or maybe a mainframe. Yeah. And so it wasn't going to go fit in on your desk. But he saw this and thought, oh, and that was basically what ended up as the Mac. But actually it started out as Lisa and then the Mac XL, and then eventually it became the Mac. And anyway, it went on, and so then Microsoft saw that and said, "Ooh, we got to get this." So they tried it out. Microsoft 1.0, nobody used it, and then 2.0, nobody used it. It didn't actually take hold until Windows 3 version 3. Got to give Microsoft a little credit there for sure, because they stuck with it. But in any case, then of course, you got Windows. I
think Windows 95.
95 is where it that's
explosion
where it took off. Yeah, absolutely.
And by the way, you say Palo Alto. Palo Alto is in Northern California, which is San Francisco. Which, by the way, it's really not Northern California; it's Central California.
Right.
but everybody in California that's from Southern California thinks if you're above Santa Barbara, it's Northern California or whatever like that. Yeah. It's Central California, but it's around the San Francisco Bay Area.
Right.
And that is where Silicon Valley was born and created.
Well, so all of that to talk about that Microsoft is not really, they're still there, but they don't have the same dominance they had because of the internet. And they were late to the internet party, believe it or not.
Yeah, they were trying to sell software, like install it on your PC software as opposed to going web-based.
Well, they just didn't think the internet was going to take off, and then he was Bill Gates. He reversed course. Well, that, and he had Steve Ballmer, and there's a lot of back and forth there. But in any case, they're rich guys. They made a lot of money. They did okay, but now everybody knows them for really pretty much Microsoft 365, which is really not all cloud-based, but they've got servers. Everybody's heard of Amazon Web Services. Well, Microsoft has what's called Azure, and Azure is a huge system, and we support it. It works on the Mac. It works on Windows, both. So it's a cross-platform deal. But they were attacked, and let's put this in perspective here. So they were attacked, but they had, let's see here. Microsoft Azure blocks largest DDoS attack in history. Attack equivalent to streaming. Get this. Now, let me give you the number. They were attacked with 15.72 terabits per second of data thrown at them. And that's the equivalent of 3.5 million Netflix videos being streamed at once. If that gives you some real world,
Perspective,
everybody understands what one Netflix movie. Now you may not know what that's doing on the back end, but that's pretty easy.
That's a lot.
What one movie is?
I think we
million.
can officially classify it as a shitload.
Yes, and basically, and it came from over 500,000 IP addresses.
Wow.
So now, how does that happen? How do they control 500,000 servers? No, kind of. They're little mini servers. The attackers, the hackers, or whatever you want to call them, basically have taken over and commandeered over 500,000 devices. These aren't all computers. Many of them are cameras.
Right.
Have bad security. There's a website you can go to, and I can't think of it right now, but you can go to it and you can find all these unsecured cameras. So you may go find your camera on this website. If you're not careful, it might be the camera in your bedroom.
Yeah.
So you might want to check that out.
You don't need a camera in your bedroom.
Right. Well, yeah. I don't have a camera in my bedroom.
Yeah.
I have one in our living room so that we can keep an eye on our dog and cat when we're gone if we want to take a quick peek. But 500,000 devices were taken over. And there's possibly even within the same network, there could be more than that was IP addresses. So when you and I get on our home internet, you're coming. You may have 5 computers, 10 computers, and your TV and everything else, but you're only seen as one IP address.
Right, because it's the basically the line going out.
Your router is sharing your one public IP address, and they saw 500,000 addresses.
So do they have any idea who did this?
No, there doesn't seem. It's just a botnet. They refer to that as a botnet. I don't. Let me see. I didn't actually see if there was anything on there, but they were able to successfully thwart it. That was the whole point.
So they rallied the troops.
There you go.
In a hurry.
Yeah, and just to give you an idea, that's the kind of thing that we help our customers with on a much smaller scale. Microsoft accounts are being attacked and compromised on a regular basis. For those who might experience this, but we've all logged into something and we get a code and we log in and whatever. Well, when you sign in and you get 2-factor codes or multi-factor authentication codes, you're logging in and what a token is being stored, and that token keeps you from having to log in every time.
Right.
You have a persistent login for a while. Well, there's a way that if you click on the wrong email, that you could inadvertently grant somebody access to your account, and then they could take it over and then start sending emails on your behalf, reading your emails, and then setting up. And you may not even know it. And we have software and tools that help us identify when that happens. So,
and by the way, Microsoft 10 is no longer supported by
right. Windows 10,
yeah, Windows 10, yeah.
On the surface, that's true, but there are ways to get support for another year or something if you decide to.
Oh, I know there's ways to do,
but yeah,
unless you pay that extra deal.
Well, it can be free, but you can also pay for it. Yeah. Anyway, but you're right. Yeah, definitely get rid of Windows 10, and we can help if you're a business owner. I guess we could help you with your home users as well. But we primarily support Windows in a business. So, but anyway, just wanted to point that out that there are things like this happening on a regular basis that we don't always hear about.
That's right.
And we hear about CrowdStrike when somebody didn't test the software, and then it was a friendly, self-inflicted wound, and it took down a lot of Windows computers and airline computers and everything. So that was last year or earlier this year, or no, it was earlier this year.
Earlier this year, I think.
So
yeah.
anyway, so there you go. So that's
so Azure was attacked.
Azure was attacked, but they were able to thwart it.
I couldn't get that. Thwart the attack.
There you go.
Cool.
All right. So then next, what do we got here? Marjorie Taylor Greene
has resigned.
MTG?
I guess.
Yeah, that's what I've seen her referred to as MTG.
Oh, really? Yeah. She resigns from Congress. Good riddance
effective in January.
Right.
Which happens to be just a few days or a day after she's vested. Her pension.
Which is a little bit of another reason why Yeah. Why? So, but as far as I'm concerned, good riddance. I'm okay with disruptors to some degree, but she was too much of a disruptor. She was a disruptor to the point of not getting anything done.
Yeah.
It's okay to draw a line in the sand and say, look, my principles are here, and I'm going to draw this line in the sand. And that's okay for some things, but you can't draw lines in the sand for every little thing and expect for everybody to come to your side on everything. And otherwise, I'm just going to gum up the works. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that form of governance. Right. The fact is, you were put there to do a job. And your job is to do the best you can do for your constituency. There's no doubt about it. I mean, that's your job description, basically. But doing the best for your constituents sometimes requires having a little bit of back and forth and a little negotiation with somebody else. And I'm not talking about negotiating your principles. So don't start with it. Hey, Trey's going to – no. If you have a principled stance on something, and it is absolutely a principled stance on something, that's okay. But you can't have a principled stance on every
right. Well, it's the same thing as what we say that when everything's a priority, nothing's a priority.
Exactly.
Nothing's important if everything's important, right? And so you have to figure out what are those few things, because that actually adds to your credibility.
Absolutely.
When you are selective on, and really that indicates to everybody that you have taken time and you really thought about it. And then you yourself can then be comfortable that, okay, here's why I'm doing it. It makes you justify in your own mind.
Exactly.
Because technically you don't have to justify anybody except your voters. But she has also, since she's announced, she's been on, I guess, at least one or two interviews, or at least one interview that she said, look, she regrets, sounds like she regrets it, that she genuinely sorry for have taken some of the positions she did. She's actually kind of admitting that she was a little too, to your point,
too much of a firebrand, too hot-headed.
He was trying to play politics too much.
Right. And maybe that's true. But so I don't know. I'm fine where they're going. I think once you get the stinker view of that where you're not going to give on you become, it's like I've told people when I've served on boards, if you fight every time there's an issue, you fight on every issue, you are no longer effective.
No.
Because everybody just goes, oh shit. It's just whatever. Just forget about them. And you are no longer effective. So I actually think it's counterintuitive or counterproductive for your effectiveness for your constituents.
Right. But interesting that the perception of people who talk a lot sometimes is, and I'm one of those that talk a lot, but there are other people that talk. When I say somebody's talking a lot, they're probably talking a lot, over talking. But anyway, that apparently there's some perception, and maybe you remember this, especially from your psychology degree, some that people who are quiet appear to be, in some cases, smarter.
Yeah.
And but that doesn't mean that doesn't mean it's really true. It may just be they don't know what to say and they don't know how to say it. But there are people who are strategic, that are really smart, that don't say much until then. When you do, boy, you wish you hadn't.
But then on the same token, every time there's a serial killer and they interview the neighbors, what do they always say? It was the quiet.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, it's the quiet ones you have to watch.
There you go. So, all right.
Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene, as good riddance out of Congress.
But how long was she? She only came in
she wasn't there a long time.
Since 2021. And you can vest. So now that makes me wonder, what is this vested? I want to know how long that takes. So apparently 4 years.
Yeah, it could be. That's 2 terms.
Yeah, 2 terms. So as long as she gets past, okay, well, that's crazy. Yeah. Oh, well.
I disagree with that, too.
I guess she's in her 3rd term then, I guess, would be right now.
It depends on when she came in 2021.
January. It says in January. She's sometime in January.
So she would be in her 3rd term. Yeah, okay. It might be. You might have to get halfway through your 3rd term before you're vested or something. I don't know.
All right. Well, then. All right. Well, then we got the Wichita Falls Ballet Theater performance of the Nutcracker Suite.
That's right.
At the Fane Fine Arts Theater.
And it's by the way, folks. It's not all politics and Neanderthal stuff, testicle talk on this deal. We have to have a little culture here. And then this is. And by the way, I may go to this. I think it's pretty interesting. I mean, I'm not a huge ballet person.
Right.
But it's the Nutcracker. It's
got a little burned out, honestly, personally.
Well, I haven't gone to enough of them that I'm burned out. I've been a long time since I've been to the ballet.
Yeah. But I used to go, and when Gary Boehm and his wife ran the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Do you remember Gary? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, he's a character.
Yeah. I don't really know him very well, but I remember.
No.
So.
Well, he was a customer as well. But yeah.
But this is going to be at the Fine Arts Theater at Midwestern State University, and the Wichita Falls Ballet Dancers perform this. So this is not, they're not bringing in a troupe from New York or something.
Right. Oh, no, this is local.
These are local people.
Yeah, local.
And it's on Friday, December 5th at 7 o'clock and Saturday, December 6th at 1 and again on 7. And audiences can follow Clara's magical journey as she encounters the Sugar Plum Fairy. That's right. But to be like you talked about and mentioned right there on your screen, that's where you can get tickets.
Yep, that's the WFBT.org.
But they've been around for over 60 years. Did you know that?
No, I didn't realize how long.
The Wichita Falls Ballet has been around over 60 years, providing culture and that sort of thing, and for people that enjoy that sort of entertainment.
Sure.
And I think it's always great. The symphony orchestra that are a bunch of local people that are not getting paid, tons and tons of money to do this. The ballet there, and by the way, it takes a ton of work and practice to do a theater performance, to do a ballet performance, to do like playing an orchestra, a musical performance with a group. It takes a lot of coordinated effort. You may be a really great musician, or you may be a really great dancer, or you may be a great actor. But to be able to put that together and find the time to rehearse, by the way, while doing your job and that sort of thing.
Especially in a town like here. I mean, New York, clearly that's what they have is full-time entertainers there. But here in Wichita Falls, even in Fort Worth, Dallas area, I guess there are some that, but even in a Fort Worth, Dallas, your musicians in that case are also like teachers, or instructors at the university.
Of course, you're in Hollywood, and you're an actor, you're a waiter.
There you go. But yeah, Wichita Falls Ballet Theater has been doing this for a long time, we, good to support them, have them local, have the arts. We need the arts here.
You do. I mean, whether you're into fine arts or not, and whether you appreciate fine art or not, it's nice to have that in your community.
Absolutely.
Because it makes you more of a well-rounded community. It's kind of the way when you go to college, and I don't necessarily agree with this, because I think we ought to do a little bit better job in high schools of this, but it's the same reason why when you go to college and you want to go get a 4-year degree, you've got to take a theater class, a music appreciation class, a humanities class, and this stuff that you may be like, I'm a math person. Right. What the hell do I care about humanities? But part of what they're trying to do is make you a well-rounded person to where when you go out there and you're at the bar and doing trivia night, you don't just answer the math test. Yep. That's the only reason, right?
That's right. Well, but also keep in mind that a lot of in my world, in the Mac world, right, there's a lot of people who we deal with, a lot of graphic artists and things, and that's just a strong suit of the Apple platform. But anyway, there's some smart people, and a lot of times the people who get into art or music end up in IT.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not one of those that has anything. I'm not an artist. My handwriting is terrible. And then I tried to play the violin once in 4th grade.
I played the violin for 5 years.
Oh, wow. You actually knew what you were doing.
No, I started when I was in 3rd grade.
Yeah, I was so bad that during some of the actual performances, for those of us who probably didn't practice enough, but it was play D the whole time, or something. I remember. Twinkle, twinkle.
No, I played violin from the time I was in 3rd grade through 7th grade. Okay. Then I switched to the string bass my 8th grade year, stand-up string bass. I did that. So I was in orchestra, and I was also in choir in junior high as well. And then when I got to high school, I got into theater. And I did theater for 4 years when I was in high school. And then I did theater a little bit in college. My freshman and maybe my first semester, my sophomore year, I did theater in college. Then I had a kid, and
but you were also football.
Oh yeah, I played. Well, so my senior year, which is weird. My senior year, like my schedule, I think we had 6 periods. I was auto mechanics for 2 periods. I think you had to have 1 science class and 1 English class because I'd already done with my math. Then I did theater, and then I did football. So I did theater, football, and auto mechanics.
Yeah. Well, I did theater one year. I did theater, and
I just, it was fun. But once again, I just go back to, you need the arts in your community.
Absolutely. Well,
it helps round your community out, and some people really appreciate it, which is great.
Right. Well, but it's an education. It influences kids, and I mean but it also makes you feel good when you go to me, when I've gone to the symphony, or I've gone to even the Nutcracker, not my thing, but when I'm there, I enjoy it. And you get to see some local people. You go, oh, I didn't know they were doing this.
And not just that, even if it's not your thing, it's great to be able to appreciate people that put some time and effort into the craft.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what it takes.
So there you go. All right. So what we got next here? We got St. Mary's Catholic Church Grotto in Windthorst was okay, I don't know what that is.
Okay, so St. Mary's Catholic Church is probably the biggest building in Windthorst.
Okay.
Windthorst is a farming community, mostly dairy farming community, probably 30 miles outside of Wichita Falls, and it is a very big Catholic community. And St. Mary's Catholic Church is kind of up on the hill. So I guess the high school and the church are probably the 2 biggest buildings. But they have a grotto there that was originally built in 1941. A grotto is an area. It's like an alcove. You can look it up. I don't know exactly what the definition is. I mean, it's an alcove, an area, a specific area that activities take place. Okay. But it was built in 1941 originally by Charles Lindemann, which Lindemann was a big oil name in this area, in memory of his late wife, Mary, and served as a Veterans Memorial Day and a place of prayer and reflection for the community. The dedication of the original grotto took place on December 7th in 1941.
Oh.
What else happened December 7th?
Yeah, I was going to say that'll be, that was
Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, Pearl Harbor. Jeez, okay.
And so they realized that a larger shrine was needed to be built, and actually there were 56 service members from Windthorst that served in World War II. I'm sorry, 64, and all of them came back. Not one of them died in combat over there, which you take a group from one town and say that every one of them came back was pretty amazing. But as they were building this grotto and making it larger during World War II, some of these people that were serving overseas actually would send part of their money back, their pay, back to help build this thing.
Okay, yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, I've got it up here.
So
apparently,
what is the term grotto?
I
know what that is.
No, I know.
I don't know what the actual term of grotto is. I mean,
let's see here. According to Wikipedia, a grotto or a grot is a natural or artificial cave covered recess. Naturally occurring grottos are often small caves near water and usually flooded. Or often flooded at high tide. That makes sense. Okay.
Because I've heard of grottos over the years, it's an area where an activity takes place, a certain specific area that's separated from everything else. So it's basically a cave. A grotto's a cave. So anyhow, there was a rededication, and so I just think it's really interesting the backstory of this, where it was dedicated on Pearl Harbor Day, and World War II vets help expand the grotto and all that sort of thing. So anyhow.
Here, just real quick, here's an article about it in the North Texas Catholic website.
There you
go. But yeah, that's the
and one. There's a picture of it right there.
Yeah, there you go. So, it's from 2017, but this gives a little bit of the history of what you were just talking about.
Exactly.
So
I already gave it to you, but if you want to double check me, go right ahead there.
Yeah, they're fact checked you.
Check me.
There you go.
But anyhow, so if you're going through Windthorst, Texas, and
281,
you want to go, yep. If you want to go check out a kind of a unique place, go check out the grotto. I believe it's open to everybody. You don't have to be a Catholic.
Yep.
Just be respectful.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Well, and I say that because no matter what your beliefs are, you could be a Catholic, you could be a Protestant, you could be an atheist, you could be whatever your beliefs are. You could be a Muslim.
Right.
Whatever your beliefs are, please be respectful for other people's religion. Yeah. I'm not a Muslim, but I would never go to a mosque and desecrate it or be nasty about it.
Right.
Because that's a sacred place to those people.
Right.
And you have to respect whether you agree or disagree with their beliefs, their religious beliefs. Just you need to respect people's religious beliefs.
Well, right.
As long as it's not affecting you.
Right.
You know.
Well, there's obviously some negative feeling in a lot of people's heart about Muslims, but practically speaking, we know that not all Muslims are adhering to the full, because there are some concerning things.
Not even close to not all.
Right.
It's a tiny minority.
Right. And so
most Muslims are very peaceful people. I mean, you go to a lot of these Muslim countries, and they are peaceful at their heart. They're welcoming of people. That's
right.
Part of it. If you watch the movie Lone Survivor,
okay,
the reason that Marcus Luttrell lived was because of the generosity, and I think it's called Pushtwali or something. I might be saying it wrong, but it's a code that Muslims live by to help people in need. And that's the only reason the guy lived. Because he did have some Muslims that were after him, but he had these group of Muslims who went and put themselves in harm's way with other Muslims to save a guy who's not a Muslim.
Right. Oh, So I think
what I'm saying is don't shit on people's religion just because you don't agree with it.
There you go.
It's just, I'm seriously, just be respectful.
No, absolutely. Yeah. It's there's too, life's too short. Don't worry about all this. And people are human and they have a heart and they have feelings and
even though they're different, they may have feelings. So.
There you go. All right. So we got the local football team still.
I think we still have 4. I think we're still, let's see, there's 4 teams that are still in the playoffs.
Oh, in the area. Okay.
In the area, Benjamin Mustangs, which I don't believe they won the championship last year, but the previous 2 years they won the state championships in 6-man. And but they're on a roll. They've been just running over people. Yeah, Graham Steers.
Oh, Graham Steers, yeah.
Graham is still in it. And Henrietta Bearcats, which this is a good year for them. I mean, they haven't been good in a while, really good, and they've really stepped up. And then the Vernon Lions have all stepped. So congratulations and good luck to those teams, and like to see you guys keep going.
Okay. All right. Well, next is the Supreme Court is going to take up a case to look at the Texas redistricting. Oh yeah, that's been So it's right now it's in a stay, right?
It's actually been lifted because so there was a 3-panel federal judge, a group of 3 panels of federal judges that said it was unconstitutional, and they said they can't use it. Well, they appealed it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has now said, wait a minute, we're putting a stay on that ruling,
that order, right,
until we hear it.
Okay.
So as of right now, it's back on.
Okay.
And this is a political. There is no doubt about this. And the Republicans that did this, they said from the beginning, this is for political gain. We're looking for more Republican seats. And Donald Trump was ass deep in this, which I don't like the fact that he got involved in it. But I also do not blame Republicans for doing this. The Democrats have been doing this stuff for years all over the country.
We're not as good at it.
And that's exactly right. I don't like doing it mid census. But we documented why the Texas House Republicans decided to do this. And one of them was the Census Bureau says that their census was incorrect.
Right. No, yeah.
Well, if that's the case, what are we supposed
Surprise,
to? What are they supposed to do? I'm not saying I'm not necessarily a Republican, but what are the Republicans supposed to do? And when you have an opportunity to say, wait a minute, we have an opportunity to get more representation for our party, is purely political. The problem is the people that are opposing are saying it's racial. And there's no evidence to that because nobody called and said, hey, let's cut minorities out of this thing. They said, get me some more seats. And by the way, just because they redistrict a map doesn't mean they're going to get more seats because the voters still have to vote.
Right.
So it's not automatic, but it tends to, they move
tips
the
your
lines
scale,
to where you would appear that you're going to get those.
Right.
But let's go back and be fair. California is very underrepresented in U.S. Congress for Republican seats.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And I believe it's at Connecticut. There's like 40% of the people in Connecticut are Republicans, and there's zero representation in Congress out of not the Senate, but the House.
Right.
Zero.
Right.
Okay, so what are we doing here? And the Democrats have done this for a long time. And here's how I've always said, you got to fight fire with fire. I don't care what the rules are, but we're going to play by the same rules.
Right.
And if you want it to be clean, let's be clean. If you want it to be nasty, let's be nasty. But to me, it's the same thing as in the past. What's happened is it's almost like a boxer and an MMA fighter get into a ring, and you tell the boxer, you got to box, and the MMA fighter, you can fight MMA. So that means the boxer, you have two tools. All you can do is throw your two fists. An MMA fighter, you've got 8. 2 fists, 2 knees, 2 shins, 2 feet, and 2 elbows. You got 10. And 2 elbows. So you have all these striking tools. And oh, by the way, you can take them down. And oh, by the way, you can grapple them. Well, who's going to win?
Right.
Your best boxer in the world would get their asses whipped.
Oh, yeah, because they focus.
By a
right.
halfway skilled MMA fighter, because all you got to do is take you down and the fight's over. You can't you can't box from your back.
Your rules limit the tool set.
Exactly.
And
so what's happened for so many years, there's really not been any limitations on the Republicans, but they've kind of limited themselves in the essence of fairness. Well, if you're going to get your butt kicked, if you're in a fight, do you care about being fair or do you care about winning?
Yeah.
And so it's purely political, whether you like it or dislike it. That's what the deal is. It's purely political, and the Supreme Court will take it up and we'll find out. But I think what the big argument for the Texas Republicans is, you can't change this thing. We duly passed this legislatively by law, legally passed it, and now people have already filed to run. And so now it's like you can't. Now you're trying to change the map and say that I can't run. Now they may eventually find it unconstitutional, but I would be surprised if the Supreme Court says they cannot. They have to use the old map because it's so close to an election. It's really not fair. Right. People have spent money. People have put down campaigns together and stuff like that. You have to respect the process.
Yeah, sometimes. Well, but even then, I think it probably comes down to this. At least my understanding is about redistricting or drawing the lines whenever that happens. I guess it's automatically called redistricting. Right. But sometimes it's mandated based on the census, like you kind of alluded to earlier. And it's just because the numbers have changed enough that they've got documented proof. Okay, you've got to reallocate because you're either losing or you're gaining seats. And in this case, they're doing it simply because of they felt like it was unfair.
Yeah, it's political purposes.
Right.
I mean, and they've been very clear about that.
Right.
When I was on the school board, we went through redistricting. It happened to be that way. And I actually gained area. And I had to, because I had people move out of my district, just migration of housing.
Right.
There was a lot more housing that was being built on the south side of town, and people were moving over there, so they moved out, and I was a school board member for the north end of town. And so we literally had to move my lines, or the people who drew the map, had to move my lines to where at one point, so my district was the very north part of town. District 5. It's the largest geographical district, okay? Just simply because there's a lot of empty spaces.
Now, that's different. That's different than the city or anything
because
it's a taxing authority.
Exactly. And not just that, it is different because City View is technically in the city of Wichita Falls. Like District 5 person represents
that's City carved View. Out.
And also they represent the people that are right up by the base, off of Missile Road. But I didn't because my boundary stopped here and here. Right. The fact is that because of that reason, there was a time that once it was redistricted, Old High's front door was in my district. So technically I had Hershey and Old High who resided in my district. Now, most of the kids that the families whose kids went to Old High were not in my district. But the front door of the building, the address was in my district.
Huh.
It just happens.
Yeah, but anyway, the point of all of that is that there is a legal the states have legal authority to do almost as they please, as long as
it doesn't violate.
It divides everything up equally, because that's right. Because you got to have the same number of people that you rep roughly
within a certain amount.
That each representative. Now the Senate, obviously, the senator, our senators in Congress are just two. But they represent the whole state.
They're voted by the whole state.
But the House is done by population. They divide all the districts up, and they make up. So you got to have. So I guess based on overall population, we get allocated a certain number of the 100 or the 456
or something like that,
or 35.
Yeah.
Seats in the whole nation. We get our allocation based on our state population, and then we divide that up by those numbers, and we have to make each district similar in population,
similar in size,
of population. And then we can draw those lines pretty much anyway, as long as it's probably not based on race.
Exactly.
And other protected, whatever.
Yeah. You cannot, if you have a minority controlled district, you cannot break up a minority controlled district. Right. Which, by the way, those days are going away, folks. People are moving everywhere.
Yeah.
We are becoming, and I hear this crap about we're so divided. No, we're not. We're not.
There's still some, but not.
We are less divided now than we ever have been in our history.
Right.
When it comes to where people live.
Right.
People live everywhere. You no longer have a black part of town, Hispanic part of town,
right,
a whatever part of town, a white part of town. There's people that live everywhere. The cost of housing has changed. The places where people want to live has changed. This cell phone sometimes have been really negative, but sometimes it's really brought the world together.
Yeah.
And people realize, wait a minute, there's a much bigger world out there than just my neighborhood.
Well, and you can live.
People are not as neighborhood centric as they used to be.
You can work from home now. I mean,
exactly.
Many people do work from home, and so you can pick your wherever.
There's more and more people that are traveling and living internationally.
Yeah.
Because once again, I think what they call digital nomads. Yeah. They can pretty much work from anywhere.
Yep.
So the whole thing about this is a certain part of town or a certain part of town. It may have traditionally been that way, but those are going away.
Right.
So those what certain neighbors are going away, and we're just going to have to accept. And by the way, let's also cut the bullshit and accept that everybody, because they're a certain race, has to vote a certain way.
Oh, yeah.
Once again, that's one of the most racist things that anybody says. I hate that.
Well,
if you're black, you have to vote Democrat?
Yeah.
Really?
All right.
Or if you're white, you have to vote Republican? Really? No.
Right. No.
That's not reality.
No.
The reality is people vote. Everybody is an individual. They can all make their own decisions on how they want to vote as long as it's legal. As long as you're legal and you're of legal age to vote and you're not a convicted felon or whatever like that, and you legally have a vote, you have a right to make your decision. And we need to make sure that those people's decision is heard, because they all have a right to make it.
But this is for another show, but we do have a few minutes. But all of that, you're talking about, hey, you need to vote for us because, fill in the blank. Do we not, isn't government more complicated than it used to be?
Oh, by far.
Right. So it sort of lends itself to, because for years, we've been talking about that we think, that we ought to have term limits.
Yeah.
But experience matters in a way, because that is a criticism of going to term limits, is that you lose experience, which on one hand, I totally get. But on the other hand, it's like maybe some of that experience is why we really need to get people out there, because they get entrenched, they get power. There's longevity, or what do they call that? Tenure. Seems to have priority over a lot of stuff.
It just does.
Just because you've been there the longest.
Well, not only that, you have the advantage of it. People know your name,
right?
Okay. Also, you can campaign while you're on the job.
Yep, I know.
And if there's people
every
who have
2
their
years,
job, which is wrong.
Right.
I'm sorry. I think that if you run for political office, a paid political office. I'm not city council, not school board.
Yeah, you get a little bit of a stipend, but
yeah, I mean, not those, but I'm talking about a paid, if you in Congress and stuff like that. And I also don't mean Texas representatives, because they're not making their living.
Oh no.
But if you run for a political office where you make your living,
right,
you should not be allowed to hold a political office already. And in the state of Texas, you can.
Oh, I see I see. Like if, because we do have some political offices that are full-time, like the judge or the commissioners.
But you should not be able to be a county commissioner, which you're not allowed in Texas to be a county commissioner and run for judge.
You've got to resign.
You have to resign. But the problem is federally, you don't have to.
Right.
So our vice president, I don't like the fact that our vice president was a senator and basically did shit as a senator.
Well, yeah, but
the last year he was in the campaign.
Not saying it's right, but that's what all of them do. But that's not right. I think
we need to get rid of that.
I know you're right.
You want to run for vice president? You want to run for a senator?
Give it up.
You got to give up your job that your political job. Now, if you want to have a private job, you can have a private job, because I don't care. The taxpayer's not paying you.
Right.
But basically, no matter what you say, the taxpayer is paying you to run against people that are trying to take your job.
Right.
And so you have an advantage.
Because they don't have, I guess there's, do senators and representatives, they don't have vacation days, I'm guessing.
I don't really know.
I bet not, because
I don't know. I mean, we're going to get into a whole.
No, I know. But anyway, my whole point of bringing that up is that because of the complicated nature of politics, we rely on them more, because it's impossible for all of us to know all the issues.
Oh yeah.
That's why we have a representative form of government also, but still there's still a lot of those issues are so difficult, and so there lends itself to party politics. Well, I'm just going to trust that the party's going to do it right, or this, and it's like, oh man, but it's hard for all of us to have an educated opinion on everything, because there's a ton of stuff out there. But that also our Congress people also can't be experts in all of those. That's why they have committees and subcommittees.
This is why I'm going to go back to what they need to do is everybody needs to have a 4-year term. The House of Representatives having a 2-year term is not a good idea. It goes back to your experience. You don't know enough experience. Plus, you're always campaigning.
Right.
The Senate does not need 6-year terms.
Right.
They need 4-year terms. Everybody needs 4-year terms with a maximum of 3. And if you do that, you give people enough longevity to where you have some experience in there, but you don't give them too much longevity to where they're entrenched.
Oh, I know, but I think some of if I'm understanding everything correctly, is that the Senate was done 6 years, in contrast to just 2. Because that way, if we see something going on, we don't have to wait 4 years in order to change the course of politics. If something's going on that we don't like.
Yeah, but no, the Senate. But see, here's the thing, though. The Senate's already been changed, because at one time the senators were appointed by the state government.
Well, that's true.
So right. they were not a popular vote.
Right.
It was a state government, and basically their job was to go to Washington and represent your state.
Yeah.
Not the people, not individual people, but your state. What is your state legislature? And the state legislature kind of had authority over to a certain degree, had authority over the senators. And the reason that the House of Representatives was 2, it wasn't so we could make a change. It was because when they started that, who the hell could leave their job?
Well, that's part of it.
Farm and their business.
Well, I think there was a dual fold there thing. I think there were 2, because you can't, because one, it's part of it is so that we don't have the true majority. That's why it's representative form. But it that way it's not a mob rule.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's part of it. But anyway, I don't know. I that's an interesting thing. But if you're saying go 4 years on everything,
everybody.
Okay.
But yeah, because you've already, and like I said, you've already changed the way the Senate.
Do you stagger?
But, you have to stagger everything.
Yeah, every 2 years you would have.
Yeah, you would have an election every 2 years still.
But half would,
But it would be 4 years, because 4 years gives you time.
Yeah, no, I get that.
In there, get your feet wet, kind of figure it out. By that second term, now you're right. Now you kind of understand. And by the way, some of those people that were on 12, now they're termed out. So now you're kind of the senior. And it will take a couple of cycles, or a few cycles. But once you do that, those cycles will go away. So you would become the senior or the tenured, quote unquote, tenured person going into your third term.
Yeah.
Or the end of your second term or whatever.
Okay.
So,
well, all right. Well, we'll wrap it up.
We'll debate
here.
that at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, cool. Well, I tell you what, then I guess we'll wrap it up here.
Yeah. So please join us next Friday morning at 7:30. And for more insights and news, and our special guest, Ann Arnold.
All right,
Arnold Ogden.
Arnold Ogden, yes.
Friend of the show, friend of the radio
AAO.
show for many years.
Yes.
And former broadcaster in
yeah.
Wichita Falls, and now has been.
Yeah, we've had her on before. She's on. She's been on here. She's a hoot.
She's great. She's very funny. She's charismatic, and she is the. She works in the art side, so we'll let her talk about what she's doing.
But I want to call her AAO.
AAO. Yeah, there you go.
We'll have AAO here. It's like, a friendlier AOC kind of thing.
Much friendlier and much smarter.
Oh, yeah.
She's way smarter.
So anyway, we're going to wrap it up here. But tell you what, like our friend and radio partner Mike Hendren has always said when he ended up the show for us, is that we will see you down the road.